Welcome. In front of me is a Xiaomi 12 Pro, and today I will show you how you can go through the setup of this phone. So when you boot it up for the first time, you should be presented with this screen right over here. So that's your setup screen. And to get started, simply press on this little arrow right here, and this will take you to the one language select. So from here, find your desired language. I'll be using English. Then you can choose your region, but for me it's actually selecting a correct one, so I'm gonna stick with it. And this will also give us option to select keyboard. So we have two different choices apparently. We have a Gboard and then Google voice typing. So I guess we have only one keyboard choice. Voice typing isn't a keyboard. It's by voice. So yeah. Anyway, let's just go to the next page, and we have terms and conditions. No phone can go without those, so we can tap on the user agreement and privacy policy to read exactly what you're agreeing to. But as you can see, it's gonna take you probably some time to get through this if you're planning to actually know what you're agreeing to. So I'm just gonna pretend like I read it and then go to the next page. This will then in turn show up with the SIM insert page. So in here I can just pop my SIM card, and the reason for this page is so you can connect to your mobile network, because frankly you can pop in your SIM card at any moment throughout the setup process or even afterwards, and you don't have to do any extra steps. The SIM card will start working as it should. The reason for it, like I said, is so you have network connection, and the reason for that is so throughout the setup process you will get option to log into your Google account. Without connecting either a SIM card or without connecting to any kind of network, that'd be through SIM card and Wi-Fi, you will not see any kind of Google page for you to log into, and additionally date and time won't be set automatically, so you'll need to fix it up if you're planning to actually not connect to network at all. Now I'm just gonna go through this and also skip Wi-Fi connection page, assuming I can't skip it because the device is locked. So let me quickly connect to Wi-Fi. There we go. So I did reset the device, so it is right now locked. That's why I need to connect to it. If I try to skip it, it would just back me out here anyway. So for you, once you connect to your Wi-Fi, you will get the Google login page, but because my device is locked, I'm gonna get a verification screen where I get to either verify using the previously used pattern or using the Google account. Now, while this is loading, I'm also going to mention one thing. If your device is also locked, I do have a video for bypassing the Google verification if you're interested in that as well. So I either search for it or maybe it will be linked. I actually don't know. But yeah, I did record the bypass of this device exactly step by step how you can do it on the video. So if you're interested, go check that out. Okay, so it finally did whatever it was doing. So right here I have the option to restore data from an older device, so I could just copy like apps and everything from, like, for instance, my old phone to this one, or I can select don't copy, which will set up the device basically as new. And as you can see, there's my verification page right here. So I'm going to quickly verify this. Normally you would not see this. You would see basically just a Google login page like this one instead. So right here you can log in, obviously if you connect to some kind of network, or you can just skip this if you don't want to. And obviously if you didn't connect to any network, you just won't see this page at all. Now this brings us to Google services. So we have three different services right here. We have the location, scanning, and sending a user and diagnostic data. Now quickly going into all three of them. Location is just GPS tracking for applications like, for instance, Google Maps, so it can function correctly like a GPS navigation would normally. So it does need to know where you are. That's why we have this option right here. You can obviously turn it off, and if you encounter an app that actually requires the navigation, the phone will prompt you that app needs that location, and it will give you a pop-up simply to quickly enable it by tapping enable. Now below that we have scanning. This allows the device to scan for Wi-Fi and mobile or Wi-Fi and Bluetooth signals. So if I'm understanding this correctly, it probably just turns on Wi-Fi and Bluetooth as a toggle. And below that we have send user and diagnostic data. Now this basically allows Google to gather data on you. That would be, for instance, your search results, your interests, stuff like that, along with what apps you use and plethora of other things that aren't really disclosed right here. So aka it just allows Google to spy on you. Obviously I'm going to turn that off for obvious reasons. And from there we can go to the next page. This allows me to choose my search engine. So we do have a wide variety of search engines, which is kind of surprising, even DuckDuckGo. So choose whichever one is your preferred one. I'm just gonna stick with Google. Not the best one, but it's the one that I'm used to. And then we have review additional apps. So we have Google Pay as an additional app. I guess I'll just press on here if I want to set it up. Nope. So that was extremely pointless. So finally the device went to the next page. So select screen lock. I'm just gonna skip one. I'm gonna select anything. And this takes me to the next page. So we have additional settings. So these are strictly from Xiaomi. As you can see, some of them do repeat, like location, sending user and diagnostic data. But like I mentioned, all of these are just for Xiaomi. So location, Xiaomi gets, sending user and diagnostic data. Now Xiaomi also will get it instead of Google, or in addition to Google if you decided to not check that on off. Then we have automatic system updates, personalized ads, and wallpaper carousel, and some user experience programs. So that's basically all we have right here. So again, I'm just going to quickly touch upon a couple of those. So we have location. Obviously, if you don't want to use it, just turn it off. User and diagnostic data, again, you can turn it off. Automatic system update, that's a neat one, which I would keep. Personalized ads, is one of the bigger cancers out here. So personalized ads based on your interests. Now this is really vaguely described on what it does, and what it does is basically continuously uses things like, for instance, microphones. If you ever encountered your phone, for instance, giving you like some kind of ad suggestions on pages based on what you were talking with someone about, yeah, that's basically one of the reasons for that. So that's one. Number two, your search history is completely for Xiaomi, so they can just give you ads based on it. And additionally, the biggest cancer of this toggle is, as you've seen, I turned off two of them without any problem. But hey, personalized ads gives you this pop-up with reverse psychology, because as you would probably normally expect to turn off, you just click right here. But guess what? That does absolutely nothing, because you want to turn it off. So to turn it off, you have to basically choose the usually deny option right here. Makes perfect sense. You trying to turn off something, you have now an disagree option section, the toggle, because that's basically how Android is usually made, where you have the confirmation to your action on this side. This does the exact opposite, and also is exactly opposite color tagged. So yeah, I despise this kind of way of doing things where it's just switched for people that are used to having everything in the place. So you do keep it on. It's absolutely scammy, and I uphold this. So rest of the things are just whatever, maybe user experience programs. I'm not really interested in that. There we go. That's basically what I would turn off, and probably also wallpaper carousel, just because I don't really care for random slideshow that is provided on my lock screen. These wallpapers, as you can see, are a fairly good example of what you will be getting, plus way more random things. Maybe some furniture as a wallpaper, maybe some flowers, beaches, and so on. So it's absolutely random, from pets to architecture. So yeah, I just don't really care for it. Prefer to have one static wallpaper. Anyway, next page, selecting a default launcher. So this just allows us how the home screen will act. We can have the app drawer, which is just a typical Android experience where you have basically some apps on your home screen and you can swipe up to access the app drawer, which will contain all your apps. Or you can have the classic one, which is basically the way iPhones used to work, with all the apps smack in the middle of your home screen and no other way to hide them, or apart from maybe folders. So choose whichever one is your preferred home style. I'm gonna go with the app drawer, that's just what I prefer. And then we can go to the next page, select the arrow right here, and this will now start loading apps. And give it a minute or so to load the apps, which after that we should be greeted with the home screen. And there we go. So there was the super long setup process, and if you found this very helpful, informative, maybe funny in some way, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and thanks for watching.